Hello, and welcome to the inaugural episode, really, of the 513 Report, presented by ICRC. I'm Jason Dudley, joined by Dean Lowry, and we have Charlie Wilson here from the City of Springdale Parks and Recreation. Hi, Charlie. How is your day going so far?
Good, very well. Thank you very much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what you do there, just to kind of start us off.
Kind of a loaded question. No, but really our goal is to provide facilities and programs for what the community is really asking for, whether it's parks or additions to programs out of our community center. So we do a lot. We offer a lot to our community.
And you're the Director of Parks and Recreation, right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. We're going to start off talking a little bit about Pretzel Fest, which is new and exciting coming to town. It used to be Community Bash, which Dean has been involved in for quite a few years.
Yeah, that was always the big Springdale community event I'm familiar with, coming out with the truck for ICRC and also filming highlights. I know Mud Quest was always a big attraction. So I saw Pretzel Fest on the calendar and I was like, oh, what's up with that? So I'm hoping you can tell us more about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to kind of tell you how that kind of started?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Got involved. Actually, we recently just elected a new mayor, and over this past summer, he came to me and he said, hey, Charlie, I want to do something for the community. I would like to see if your staff could put together some ideas of maybe a new event or program for the community. And so we got with our programmers, which I'm very fortunate to have. They're some of the most creative people I've gotten to work with. But so we put together a list of probably about 100 different things, and we kind of narrowed it down to what we wanted to do. A few of the things we shot around was, I don't know if you know this, Route 4 used to be kind of like the transit for where they would herd pigs down to Cincinnati to be butchered.
I had no idea.
No.
So we were one of the things we threw around was, what about a barbecue fest, or something to that effect. But then, we kind of looked at, there was a lot of other barbecue things going on around, so we wanted to do something a little bit unique. And I'll give a quick shout out to Sherry. She's our senior programmer, and she's very creative. But she said, "Well, hey, didn't Ditsch just buy the Costco building that they used to be in Springdale?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "What about a Pretzel Fest?" And it was like, at that point in time, it was like light bulb. So we took that idea to our administration and our mayor, and they were like, "Let's run with it."
It certainly seems very unique. I don't know that there's another Pretzel Fest nearby for sure, but I can't even think of anything happening nationally.
And that's kind of one of our things, because you kind of want to separate yourself and try to do something different, but not too obscure to where you're going to be like, nobody's going to go to that. But who's going to complain about food or pretzels? So that's really how that really came to be. And so this is going to be our first year, and since this summer we've had to start booking things and get things rolling on that, because you got to book things so far in advance, working through contracts and insurances and making sure that you get all the key players that you want to get, and we're still adding too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening at Pretzel Fest. I know Dean mentioned the Mud Quest that's sticking around, right?
Oh yeah. No. So we looked at kind of, we have a smaller department staff. We're not a huge Parks and Rec department, but we couldn't do two large events so close together in August and then right back to back September, because actually our fall schedule is very busy with community and kids events. So we had to kind of go away with the community bash. Which we kind of got there with the aspect of, we took a lot of the community members' input from the community bash, where they said, hey, you have a lot of things for kids, but outside of that, you're not really offering much for the adults. So we took that community input in when the mayor asked us to kind of go over, and sorry, I'm stepping away from the mic, but it took that input in from our community to make sure that we get something a little bit more well-rounded for both adults and kids, and try to mesh those two together. But So yeah, with Pretzel Fest, we plan on doing. We couldn't get rid of the Mud Quest because that is a hometown family favorite in our community. So we still intend on doing that. And we're going to have a little bit different feel and setup from even the location where we had it back in our little multi-purpose concrete area, and things were kind of spread out in different locations, so it wasn't all seen in one area. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it out into one of our baseball outer fields, and we're going to kind of enclose that. We're going to bring a bunch of food trucks, and we're going to have a main stage where we plan on having Jake Sweeney has been, very very nice to us that they're going to offer their DJ services for about a 2 or 3 hour window to kick things off. They're also going to provide us with some cars for a display, which kind of meets our adult aspect, but then also kids like to see, cars. And then let's see here, what else? Oh, I'll go into the kids stuff that we have planned, and then I'll move into the adult stuff. But so with the kids stuff, we're working with a local vendor where we're going to have different inflatable games, like the Wipeout game you see on TV. We're going to have this thing called a climbing rock mountain, and some inflatable obstacle courses so kids can kind of compete against each other. And then we're also going to have a little bit of the artistic part of it where we are working with, I think it's, let me make sure here, I have it here, Aveda Fedrix. They're a hair institute, and they are going to provide, they're going to make pretzel hair braiding for kids. So kids can come up there and get their hair braided and whatnot. And then we're also working with the Fenton Center out of Hamilton. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Fenton Arts and Cultural Center.
We actually hosted a local access conference there.
Oh, did you really?
Just last year.
Yeah, just this year.
Yeah. So my wife's originally from Hamilton, and she had nothing but good things to say about them. They've, I guess, been a very big impact on the community there in Hamilton. So yeah, we reached out to them. I actually, me and my wife would go to a lot of festivals. It gets us ideas or me and our staff gets us ideas for
That's
different
important research.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the beer still can't go on the company.
That's right. No, absolutely not. But yeah, so we went to their Hamilton has the pumpkin festival. I'm drawing a blank. It's called Operation Pumpkin.
Yeah.
How could I forget? But they do a phenomenal job up there with that event, and it really blows you away, and it wants to aspire you to do better and be better and try to get different ideas. So I saw the Fenton Center, and they had all these different arts and crafts things where the kids were decorating pumpkins, and so I was like, oh, that would be great to have them so we could do some sort of pretzel craft with the kids, whether it's making a pretzel necklace, which I don't know if you've ever been to a beer fest or whatever, but they have the pretzel necklaces, so you walk around, you can have a snack while you're sipping your drink.
You can't drop your pretzels everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a handful. But then we're Ditsch, who's a major partner in this venture, and they were key to get on board. For us to have them on board, because we wanted them on board, but we didn't know how involved they were wanting to be. But we did meet with them. And I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but I'm thinking of these different things.
That's the cool part about a podcast, right?
Yeah. But so we met with the CEO of Ditsch and his executive administrative, Ali Brokaw, who's been very partnered, involved with us in our planning processes and getting to make sure that we have these different pretzel items to serve. But they are actually going to supply back to Fenton Center. They're going to be supplying some of the food items that the kids can decorate, partnering with the Fenton Center to make sure we have some kid items.
Yeah, that's very cool. I have to ask this for Dean.
Yeah.
Are adults allowed on the Wipeout ball as well?
Sure.
I was saving that one.
I knew it was processing in there.
Yeah.
Just no betting. Who can make it bet? No betting on public grounds here. But no, yeah, it's it should be a really good time, and we wanted to mix it up because I think after a certain time some of the events become stale or normalized. So we wanted to throw different types of games, because we normally just had the games where you shoot a basketball hoop or throw some inflatable darts or whatever. We wanted something a little bit more interactive. And I took some ideas that, going over to Loveland, they do their own German fest. Like everybody has a German fest, right? So, going to these different places gets you some ideas with different vendors and games and activities. And so just pulling from those ideas.
On that kind of topic, something I thought was interesting, I think Dean and I were talking about when he saw it on your website the other day, was Community Bash really has this feel like you should be living in Springdale to go.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas Pretzel Fest seems like it could easily be like a regional attraction and stuff like that. So I think you've got something on your hands here that might grow pretty frequently. I mean, I think Dean and I probably aren't going to be there covering it. We'll have staff there and things, but I'm going.
Yeah, Pretzel Fest. I was like, I like pretzels. Like,
I'm off the clock.
I like Springdale. I like pretzels.
Yeah, no. So it's very exciting. We don't know. We're anticipating, a good turnout. We just don't know the reach yet. Mm-hmm. This being the first year, but we're going to try to do all the proper steps in place to make sure that we have a safe and a fun event for everybody. So if it grows, it grows. If it maintains our community, our tax base, and serves our community, that's really the primary goal. But you never know what could happen.
Yeah, totally understand that. That's a lot of what we do here at ICRC is kind of in that vein. It's our goal is to serve and to present information to this group of people. But if it gets bigger, that's even better. And especially in the guise of a whole community, that's bringing people in and learning about what you guys have to offer.
Yeah, if someone gets excited about Springdale, they might want to move to Springdale.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great process, and we've had a ton of administrative support from our city administrator, assistant city administrator, and our mayor in this process. And in fact, we had just recently applied for a grant through Hamilton County Board of Commissioners, and were awarded $25,000 to go towards this first year event.
Oh, awesome.
So we're trying to kick it off right and maybe spare no expense, but make it reasonable and make sure that it is a very good first year for this event.
Sweet. Well, on the adult side, I saw several really cool things. Including a mechanical bull.
Yeah, yep.
Talk a little bit about what's going on for the adults over here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, posing the question to our staff, I put it in this preference, put the question to them in their mindset of, hey, we understand what we might think the community wants, but what would you want to go to? What would entice you to come to this as an adult? Say you don't have kids, which is where we ran into an issue with the Community Bash, where we wanted the adults to have fun too. But if the kids can go over there and play, and the adults can kind of go over into this other area, they are on separate ends of the festival, so we can kind of keep that separation. But we have a huge 120 foot large canopy tent. We're going to have a mechanical bull under there. We'll have a beer truck, which we're working with our Springdale Youth Boosters. They are going to be selling beer, and obviously those proceeds will go straight to them. They make our youth sports affordable in Springdale. We kind of partner and work with them with our youth sports. But we also have the Hangman Challenge, which is essentially like what looks like a pull-up bar, and you kind of hold on to it, and there's a little timer, and whoever can kind of hold on the longest, kind of wins or has bragging rights amongst their friends.
Are you going to do that within the staff? I think you guys should. I think you should. I think that should be a show too.
Oh man,
you get a little plaque on your desk.
I don't want to be embarrassed in front of my staff too bad.
I don't know. You look reasonably fit there.
But it's and I'm trying to think. Obviously, I think I mentioned the car show.
Got some great bands coming.
Oh yeah.
So I saw Pirates of the Caribbean, who I've seen before. Those guys always are a good time.
Oh really? Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Naked Karate Girls closing the night out, and they're always
hometown Cincy favorite.
Entertaining. Yeah. Can't undersell. If you haven't seen a Naked Karate Girls performance, the amount of showmanship is really you can't explain it. How many songs they're able to put their own spin on while still being sing along and fun. It's it's a great time. So I got to give them a big shout out there. We've worked with them before with ICRC.
Okay.
And different places, and they're always great to work with and super nice. So
they really get the crowd going. Like that's what there's a level of participation they garner that not a lot of local bands do.
Yes. Yeah. It's a different amount of being a good musician while also being a good performer, and they can really do both. And it's so fun. Yeah, it's a great show to see. So
I'm super excited to have them. They were obviously great to work with behind the scenes. But so we wanted to book the bands that, daytime, kind of that Jimmy Buffett, kids can listen to it and be a part of it. We will, once the Naked Karate Girls get on, actually we're around that 6 o'clock time, we're actually shutting down the kids zone so that we're more geared towards the adult.
That's very cool.
The adult centric part, adults come out at night.
Yeah.
Or have that adult fun in a sense. But excited to see them. I've heard nothing but good things. I haven't gotten to see them live, but definitely done the research and talking to other community department directors and how they were to work with, and
they have a pretty good following too. Yeah. I mean, honestly should be helpful as well.
That was a big part of it too. We want to make sure we have something that's engaging and has a following and that draws people. In fact, in working with any of our community groups, whether it's our business partners like Ditsch that we're working with, or our youth boosters, or swim team, or this PTA Springdale Elementary, getting them involved, you kind of look at it like they kind of branch out.
Yeah, so it adds a lot of value.
One friend will tell 5 friends. Those 5 friends will tell 5 friends. So getting all those integral parts involved helps draw and bring people from the community together. Their friends, their friends' friends, their uncles, aunts, grandparents.
Yeah.
It's very, you need to have them involved. Yeah.
So this might be one of the most important questions.
Oh, gosh.
What kind of pretzels can we expect to find at Pretzel Fest? Are these hard pretzels, big pretzels, small pretzels?
Good question. So we're working on, how we're going to do the setup is we're going to have a ticket booth. So we're going to have one ticket booth that will sell 2 different aisles, where one is selling pretzel tickets and one will be selling beer tickets. So, if you have to cross the line, I don't think they'll mind. So we plan on selling and working with Ditsch. They're going to have 4 to 5 different items. I will keep out the 5th because it's kind of in limbo right now, and they're trying to figure out how we can make it done. But you'll essentially bring your ticket to the Ditsch booth. They're going to be our sole pretzel provider. They've got an army of staff behind them to work. So you bring their ticket to them. You tell them which of the 4 to 5 items that you want. Say, hey, I want the pretzel twist caramel dip. That's one of them. We also have, I think it's a Bavarian pretzel.
Okay, very cool.
I guess a big, I think they said 16 ounce or something like that. It was something wild.
I've never measured pretzels in ounces, so I honestly don't know what that looks like.
I know, palm size maybe, but that's about it. They also are going to do some sort of ice cream pretzel, I want to say sandwich, but you're also going to be able to decorate it with your toppings of your choosing.
That's very fun.
Yeah. So, and then I'm trying to think. Oh, and then there was, the last thing was, I'll call it like a pretzel dipper, where you can dip it in cheese and that sort of thing. And then I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. And sorry, honestly, I didn't bring that menu with me.
I honestly didn't expect it to be, for lack of a better term, that cool. Like, I thought you were going to say, well, we'll have some hard pretzels, some soft pretzels. But there's like menu options here.
You got some sweet, you got just your classic salty, you got your dips. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So, and that's one of the things, and I think, so when we were doing our research on, hey, where's the nearest Pretzel Fest, and trying to gauge, because you don't want to do a German Fest, you don't want to do a Barbie Fest, because they're all over the place. You want to do something a little unique. So actually in our research, myself, our mayor, and then one other staff member, we went up to the closest Pretzel Fest that exists up in Germantown. But we walked around. It was actually a rainy day, so they didn't really have a good turnout. So we're praying for weather, good weather. Our best bet's in August. So
the big canopy helps a good amount, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And they did theirs in like September, October. So weather's could be an issue there. But what we saw was they had a lot of just regular pretzels, your standard, pretzel, soft pretzel. But these are all going to be fresh off the line pretzels because we have the manufacturing plant Ditsch right at the old Costco building, off the line, into some heaters and warmers, and they'll probably have a lot of runners coming back and forth from their facility to the facility, to our event. But very fortunate.
So something that could be interesting for future years, I found in my research, is are you aware of the size of the largest ever recorded, I guess, soft pretzel?
No.
29 feet, 3 inches, weighing 1,728 pounds.
1,700.
I think let's get a few years into this event, right? I think I think we try and take that title.
that would bog me down for a while.
Yeah,
I wonder how big the salt was on that thing.
Maybe it was unsalted.
Salt blocks,
That's
maybe
a pretzel
for that.
Buffet, and it's just everyone gets a little piece of the pretzel.
I think at that point you don't have to give a little piece. Everybody gets a pound of the pretzel.
At least a pound.
So you mentioned a whole bunch of business partnerships and working with local organizations.
Sure.
What's coming up in that realm, or what's in the pipeline? Who are you working with?
So I obviously mentioned Ditsch. They're our premier sponsor.
Yeah. I just mean in general for the rec department all around right now.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
So we're always examining different options of, we work a lot with Jake Sweeney. They've been very easy to work with for our different events where, hey, that we need music provider. They get something out of it and we get something out of it. Just making sure that we have a good partner and working relationship. They provide the music, yet they also have a big Jake Sweeney sign on the side of their DJ mobile. Yeah. And we're always, and some of the partners we do work with, a lot are, I'll say our senior programmer, Sherry. She is been fantastic with partnering with groups where they'll do an instructional service, whether it's how to adapt to new technology for folks, all ages, because sometimes our phones give us problems. She will partner with a local facility or nursing care home or provider, health care provider or insurance, and they'll either donate or give gifts for bingo, and they put their business card out there. But I'm trying to think of
something basing off that. I know we talked a little bit before, but ICRC would love to do those kind of things with you guys and start that kind of process, and especially talking about technology and media literacy. And in many ways, Parks and Rec Department shares a lot of our mission, right? It's connecting people, it's entertaining people in a way, but also building community through activity, right? Building community through information.
100%. Yeah, no, and it's great to have those instructional places because, not everybody has unlimited funds, and that's one of the great things about our community center and our community is the sense that we make things very affordable, if not free. We're doing it as a service to the community because not everybody has access to expensive education or education. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people just are interested and want to learn. Might not get it through watching YouTube, but maybe a hands-on learning approach that sometimes works best for folks.
Well, especially when you're talking about technology.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, we say you can look it up on YouTube, but if you're struggling with technology, maybe that's not an easy option for you either,
use
right?
Technology to get better, and that's tough. You need the resources for that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Oh, you know what? I forgot one of the biggest things that we have at Pretzel Fest. I'm sorry. So in our partnership, we were able to secure a drone light show. So that is going to be, and I know that's a new upcoming thing, kind of replacing fireworks, which is something our community used to do. But this is a little bit more modern and adaptive, and we've been working with a drone light production company. So at 9:30, right as Naked Karate Girl ends, where we're going to put up a drone interactive light show in the sky, right above where the audience is. Awesome. So it's going to be a really cool show and a really big bang for its first year.
Have you ever seen one of those in person, a drone show?
Yeah, you know what? I did. I went out to New Mexico. They have that balloon festival.
Oh, wow, yes.
You know festivals.
Oh, yeah.
My wife loves the drag me festivals.
Drag you?
I know.
I'll go to the festival with her if you don't want to go to the balloon festival.
It was so wild. It blew my mind. So that was my first one, and it was a year ago. I saw one, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was honestly skeptical of them until, where was I? This recently in Cincinnati, there was some sort of a festival I was walking around. It was Blink.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
That's a pretty big one.
And I saw the one, I stood on the bridge and watched the thing, and I'm like, this is better than fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, grumpy old me, I am a grumpy old man at heart, went, well, they're taking my fireworks and they're taking my joy.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like, hold on, this is way more
annoy
impressive.
My dog.
Yes.
This doesn't annoy people who have maybe PTSD or other issues with noise. And it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
We're not using explosions, but there's still pretty lights in the sky.
But yeah, no, the drone shows, and then when you link it up, and I don't know, I didn't see if Blink, but we're gonna link it up with music, so there's that element to it, and just seeing the dimensional pull on what they can do with
the 3D effect.
The 3D
really
effect
cool.
is crazy, and it definitely, to me, and kind of what you were talking about is like, to me, it's like, wow, this is better than fireworks. This is something.
And
out of the future,
Exactly. That was my thing. It was like when I think they took the. I guess I won't mention the Blink sponsor. Actually, it's one of us, the Cincinnati Bell, and they started to rotate it.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen a few really cool ones. It's really been progressing fast in the technology. Like a drone show 5 years ago to this year. If you haven't seen one in a bit, it's been changing rapidly.
Really,
they've been getting better and better and better, like really quickly, and it's very cool to see. And it's awesome that it's been getting more accessible to be able to see one. Whereas it felt like, you could travel to like a theme park and maybe see a drone show, and now we're starting to see them pop up more, and it's really cool.
Yeah. I haven't heard a lot of the local communities doing that though yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
It seems like it's coming.
We're trying to make a splash.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, what else is coming up with Springdale Parks and Rec? I know you guys have a super busy summer coming up. So
obviously we have our concerts in the park. We try to do one every month, June, July. Actually, we're going to do 2 in July because we have our big, Pretzel Fest August 2nd. And then I'll tell you a really cool program we just got done. We're not past the 20th yet. Nope. So our creative folks, they came up with this month-long Easter egg hunt around our walking track. We have a 1 mile loop that goes around our community center. So they put out a golden egg. So every day, or as often as it's found, we put out a golden egg in the walking loop somewhere where somebody can find it. Some days it's hard, some days it's really easy. But they find it, they bring it into the front desk, and then they elect their prize, which was a treat or some flowers, whatever they want.
Yeah.
But back to the summer. We around that same walking loop, we're going to have like a reading trail. So you go so far, that's the next page of the book, and then going upwards, you'll get to see the story as you see the loop. And then I will say one of the bigger projects that we're working on that is very community driven. We're partnering with a local Girl Scout. We have about 7 pocket parks in our community, and what we have, our Girl Scout, she's working on her Silver Award, which is probably equal or close to Eagle Scout, if you're familiar with. But she is actually doing a revitalization project for our entire park. She is doing a massive undertaking under the Girl Scout umbrella. She is implementing a hiking trail where it'll have like different maps, whether it's going left or right, or hey, this trail will lead you this way, and then an amenities map, a pollinator garden. She's looking to put a what do you call it? A reading box. What am I? A library.
Yeah.
Mobile. not mobile library, but it's called like
a mini library,
like a mini library.
They definitely have a name.
Yeah. But so it's a stationary. It's open to the public. It'll actually go on a platform, so you can see on a map where it's located. But we're going to put one of those at the park. She's going to repaint, do some work to some of our playground equipment to try to freshen those up. We're going to get rid of some old baseball fencing that we don't use that field anymore. So to kind of make the space more open, add a couple park benches, and she's going to do a phenomenal job. If I could do a shameless plug to her, how to reach out to her if you want to donate supplies or resources. Alice Cordona, and her email real quick is rossparkrefresh@gmail.com. So she hopes to get this project done before September. So hopefully we can do a ribbon cutting, and she did her presentation to our mayor a couple weeks ago, and he approved the project. And so we'll work alongside her to get this going. So it's really cool and exciting.
That's a big undertaking. Cool.
I know. I am. It gives you hope, right? In the sense of like how much initiative this little girl has and her mother on how they want to make an impact in their community, and we're able to allow them to do that and assist along those ways. So that's been really cool to be a part of.
Not to shame the Boy Scouts, but I feel like you hear about the Boy Scouts. So, I built a bench. Right? And she's going,
we'll have someone talking about how cool the Boy Scouts are.
Right. Yeah. Don't throw them under the buses. Or like...
No, don't throw them under the bus. I'm not, like I said, not to shame them, but
sure.
You don't hear about...
We'll challenge them. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm redoing the whole park system. Really.
There you go.
Just in a couple months.
Just make it a rivalry. Yeah.
There's always so many community members in every community where it's like, wow, they're really doing a lot, and it's good to give them their applause and make sure they get their flowers, because that's really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So when is Pretzel Fest? And how do people get more information about that and all the other cool things that you guys are doing?
Yeah, sure. So Pretzel Fest is Saturday, August 2nd. It'll go 1 to 9:30, and then obviously at 9:30 we'll be looking up in the sky at that drone show. It'll be at the Springdale Community Center. In fact, we'll have it in the outdoor ball field. So if you just go to our address, you'll see the activity. We'll have food trucks, everything there, adult beverages. But you can go to our website, which is springdaleohio.gov. Or, if you are a partner and want to try to be involved in this, in our festival, we are still adding different amenities and partnerships to it. You can reach out to me directly at cwilson@springdaleohio.gov. Be happy to help you.
I do have one important question with Pretzel Fest. Talked about how many awesome things there are to do. How much does it cost to attend?
Free.
Exactly.
$0.99.
Yeah. So make sure you come out.
And so that's the great thing. Yeah, absolutely. As we try to do free and open to our public, so we're inviting everybody in. We're not eliminating anybody.
Well, I think that's something that, not to diverge as we wrap
sure.
People don't understand. There's a lot of cool services in Springdale, like having a Parks and Rec department this size for a community that size, right?
Oh yeah,
is pretty spectacular, and you guys are doing a lot to reach out to not just serve the community, but like build community and be part of the community.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the inaugural episode of the 513 Report presented by ICRC. I'm Jason Dudley, and we've had Dean Lowry with us, and we were joined by Charlie Wilson to talk about Pretzel Fest happening August 2nd in Springdale. Hopefully we'll see you there.